Okay, my apologies. We're back to complete our journey of togetherness. Not separatism. There's no value in that. For no man lives on an island by himself. Um, we get a little help from our friends, so to speak. And sometimes we get help and we're not even realizing that we got the help. Therefore, we don't even acknowledge it. And that doesn't lead to a positive outcome either. We must learn to humble ourselves before everything. The person gives you a quarter, that's enough to humble yourself, to thank them for that quarter. The value is not of what is importance, the attitude of willingness is what truly counts. So, asking the question, who are we? Where the hell are we going? What do we expect to accomplish? We want something good, but we don't want to give off something good. Understand this, you don't get to define that. When you do a favor for an individual, the favor they do in return is what I mean by you don't get to define that. When you ask of something of someone, they get to ask of you back because it's a negotiation at this point. Therefore, you may ask for a hot dog and they may ask for an entree dinner, and they have that right. So before you ask for something, be in the mindset and the willingness that you have to give up something when it's their turn to ask, because they may not want the same things that you want. They want the things that you need, that they need, just as you want the things that you need. And we have to be conscious and aware that that does exist in who we are. Uh, we're not here by ourselves. Everybody has their role. Quit trying to define everybody's role and learn to master your own. That is the difference maker. So when they talk about a master teacher, a master instructor, understand what that title means. That means this is an individual that has spent many years just mastering themselves, not anyone else, because self knowledge is the key to everything. If you ain't on this journey of self knowledge, then you've missed the reason of being here, or you will never reach that plane of where we eventually become gods or goddesses. Even Hollywood is becoming more aware. If you watch the movies now, they're creating more female herus. Don't have to be she-rus, they're herus, heroes. There are more females playing these roles today than ever before because Hollywood is about writing a script. Now you got to understand how Hollywood works, and that's a whole nother story within itself, so we won't go into how Hollywood works. Where these scripts actually come from. If you think they came off the top of somebody's head because they were on LSD or heroin, you're probably wrong. So I'm going to leave that subject alone, save it for another day, of how Hollywood does its magic. Because now we're into using our own magic and our own abilities, our own talents as we have them. And everybody has a different talent, and that's okay. Everybody has something different to bring to the table, and that's okay. One does not minimize the other. They all are of value, and we must look at each one of them as something of value. When we can start looking at things for their worth, we will start treating each other differently. Looking at the big picture, not the little picture that exists in your petty brain that doesn't want to expand or explore anything because you think you already know. You ain't took no psychology classes, you don't have no degrees, but yet you're going to define it. Wow. And not saying that the degrees give us the correct definitions, but at least you have a basis to start working from. And that basis will start teaching you what the differences are, what things you should be flowing with and what things you shouldn't be flowing with. But everybody quit trying to be the expert on everything. Uh, Sometimes it's not a matter of going to college or having a degree. It's a matter of sitting down and listening to those master teachers, those who have spent their life being committed to learning these esoteric lessons. Not the exoteric lessons. Everybody can read about those. That's why they're in the book. The esoteric lessons allow us to go to a different place, allow us to see the world from a different mindset, allow us to explore things that we might not have otherwise explored. This allows us to recognize truths that we have been ignorant of. So even this subject on mysteries, when you use the word mystery, mysteries are just used for the people that are ignorant. Because guess what? You're not born into darkness, you're born into light. Don't get it twisted. You have these innate abilities from the day you are born. They develop themselves as you continue to grow on your journey, as those who help bring you into existence help provide you with certain lessons. But if they provide you with the wrong lessons, then you will move in the wrong direction. But we all think that we got the right direction. You know why? Because it fits for us. As soon as we realize that this stuff ain't about us, it's about the collective, the we can change our approach to many of these things. What will it take for our mindset to change? I guess us practicing and listening to lessons such as this. For there are master teachers out there in the world that provide this type of understanding. If you ain't got time to read it, listen to them, read about it. The books exist there too. And that's what makes books so important. You know, when you read a book, it makes your brain function differently. You have a completely different viewpoint on things, which is the importance of being able to read. So not the importance of being able to read, but actually doing some damn reading. The libraries are still in existence. How many of us are taking advantage of them? They aren't just for children. They weren't just for when we were in school. Hell, we still all in school. So don't think you ain't, because you got a degree here, a degree there. Your ass is in school just like the rest of us. And if you think you've reached the point to where there's nothing new for you to learn, then you might as well roll over and die, because your existence doesn't need to be here anymore. So the journey is much greater than we have realized this journey to be. Hopefully, some of us will start capturing the truths behind it. And to capture many of the truths means recognizing your own dark truths. And that becomes hard. That becomes a challenge. Because everybody wants to be right. And so in order for me to be right means I can't recognize or accept any of my dark truths. I got to justify them. And that's what we all try to do, is justify our actions. When they don't call for justification, if you're doing the right thing. So anytime you're justifying your action is when it's wrong, or those who are involved with it have a weak perception of it. Then you may have to do some explaining, which is okay. You've all seen the lettering, each one teach one. Well, let's start teaching each other. Before we can teach each other, let's start recognizing our shortcomings and what we need to learn to be better teachers for each other. Because the way we've been going about it, we are horrible teachers when it comes to trying to teach each other. I hope we get it right in this lifetime. Can't guarantee it. Don't know if it will happen. Because there's so many distractions going on out in the world today. The government, all the issues that are going on globally with various countries will have an effect on us all. So I challenge you with this understanding. If you sneeze this moment, who is to say that your sneeze did not cause a tsunami halfway around the world? Is that sneeze just enough to disturb the balancing of energy, the balancing of air, to where you created the tornado? Hurricanes have been named after women because they've been defined as the African female wrath, because most hurricanes start on the west coast of Africa and they end in the Caribbean because Columbus never came to America. He went to the Caribbean. And so slavery was starting there, although there was slavery in other parts of the world, but we're talking about the western part of the world right now. So that's how we got caught up in this mess. Learning from the wrong people, accepting the wrong definitions, because we've gotten so lazy that we don't want to learn on our own. We'd rather somebody provide the answer for us than us look up the answer. And now it's so simple because you got Google. Google ain't right all the time, but it can give you some general information. But the books still exist. Let's take advantage of them. Everybody should have a library at home because of what reading does for the brain. But some of us are so miseducated about how the brain operates that we overlook these things. We want it to be what we want it to be versus what it really is. Because if you don't feed the brain, you're going to operate on a lower vibration, which will make you have bad thoughts and bad ideas. And there's nothing good coming out of a bad thought or a bad idea. There is no positiveness in there. There's no benefit in there. It actually kind of shows our weakness. Because we are living in the times to where one must never be willing to give up. As long as one doesn't quit, then one never fails. Excuse me. So we must motor forward on this issue, do what we need to do, get this thing right, complement each other versus opposing each other, support each other versus talking about each other. And it just amazes me how we expect these wonderful things to come out of creation when we've had nothing good to put into the creation. So if I call a person a jerk, a butthole, what am I going to get from that? I'm going to get a jerk and a butthole. And if I expect anything more than that, stupid falls on me. Because you can't, because there's nothing to be gotten from that that is a benefit for us that are trying to move forward on our journey. And we operate according to these vibrations. If I look at a woman and say, you are the most beautiful woman in the world, what type of vibration have I just created? To where now she may want to talk. She would probably at least say hi, versus me saying something else. I'm not going to create the correct effect until I actually give off the right energy to bring forward the effect. And that's just how vibrations work. And we are vibrating people, believe it or not. If I call you an MF, the vibration inside of your body is going to go negative. And you're going to look at me in a negative light for saying that. So understand how real these things are and what it is that we are doing when we say these things. As has been said, that the throat chakra has allowed us to be great spoken people. But damn it, when are we going to learn to speak the right words? When are we going to learn to say the correct things? Not until we can look at the world in the right light correctly will we ever be able to do that. And that means start changing the definition of a lot of things. Re-educate yourself. As I said in video 1 was that self-knowledge is the first step of knowledge. So when you studied yourself and you've learned all you think you can learn about yourself, study yourself again. That's how much it is to learn. Just imagine this. If we are on the journey to becoming gods, the amount of information and love and light that we must learn extends far beyond anything that we've even come close to being in contact with at this point. And you've all have manifested things with your thoughts. Imagine what happens when you're able to take that to the next level. And hopefully, we're going to get on that journey to be able to take these things to the next level. Or we're missing the purpose of being here. Uh, we don't want to be here and never be more than what we already are. And I don't think any of us will do that for the most part, but there are going to be quite a few who will. There are going to be quite a few who have been trapped into their mindset, have been locked into definitions, and nothing outside of that exists for them. Wow, how shallow. How sad, even. So we got a lot of work to do, people.